Within the lush core of a forest untouched by the passage of time, where the songs of birds intertwine with the whisper of leaves, there unfolded a tale of divine retribution and mortal folly. This is the story of Actaeon, where the hunter becomes the hunted. Born into the lineage of the house of Cadmus, the legendary founder of Thebes, Actaeon carried within him the blood of both kings and divinities. From his youngest days, Actaeon found solace in the embrace of the forest and the bow as his most trusted ally. His bond with his hounds transcended mere hunting, growing into a deep and meaningful relationship. Under the watchful eye of Chiron, the wisest of all centaurs, Actaeon had mastered the bow and the secrets of the hunt, his name known far and wide for his unrivaled skill. Chiron, who had tutored heroes and demigods, found in Actaeon a pupil of both passion and reverence for the hunt. Actaeon's education was not solely in the ways of the chase. Chiron imparted wisdom of the stars, the healing arts of herbs, and the ancient stories that wove the world's unseen threads. Among these tales were those of the Olympian gods, their loves, their feuds, and their dealings with mortals. Actaeon grew fascinated with Artemis, the huntress goddess, whose temples stood in groves consecrated by moonlight. In her, he saw the epitome of purity, strength, and the untamed wild. Though he revered all the Olympians, it was Artemis to whom his heart offered its silent homage. His skill and devotion to the hunt were unmatched among mortals. Kings and princes sought Actaeon's company, eager to witness the beauty of his art. Yet for all his accolades, a quiet humility lingered within him. Actaeon hunted not for glory but for the communion with nature it offered, the pulse of life that ran like a current beneath the forest's canopy. The hunter's greatest joy was to lead his pack into the embrace of the wild, where the boundary between man and nature blurred. He taught them with patience and kindness, never resorting to cruelty. In turn, the hounds served Actaeon with a loyalty that knew no bounds. They were attuned to his every mood, sensing his pride in their successes and his gentle admonition in their failures. One day, amidst the golden hues of an autumn forest, Actaeon and his hounds embarked on a hunt that would forever alter the course of their fates. The game was scarce, and an unseen force seemed to draw them deeper into the unknown reaches of the woods. It was as if the forest itself was alive, guiding Actaeon to a destiny predetermined by the gods like a thread of the fate's own spinning. Through a thicket of thorns and a veil of mist, unknown to Actaeon, he had crossed into the sacred grove of Artemis, the virgin goddess of the hunt, where no mortal foot was meant to tread. Artemis, daughter of Zeus and Leto, found solace in this secluded haven, away from the intrigues of Olympus and the affairs of mortals. His intrusion into Artemis's sacred grove was not driven by hubris or desire, but by an unknowing step along the path fate had laid before him. Actaeon stumbled upon a sight no mortal was meant to see, a clearing where a sight of unparalleled beauty awaited him. Artemis, with skin aglow like moonlight, was bathing in a crystal-clear spring, her nymphs attending to her. For a moment, time itself seemed to pause, the forest holding its breath. The very moment Actaeon's gaze fell upon the goddess, his fate was sealed. Artemis, feeling the intrusion of mortal eyes upon her sacred privacy, turned with a flash of anger in her eyes as fierce as the storms of her father. In that instant, Actaeon wished to flee or apologize, but he was transfixed, caught between awe and fear. When he beheld Artemis in her unveiled glory, it was not lust that seized him, but awe and an overwhelming sense of the sacred. For a mortal to gaze upon a goddess was forbidden, a breach of an ancient covenant. Actaeon's transgression, though unintended, called for divine retribution. The natural order demanded balance, and the price of imbalance was often exacted with ruthless precision. Artemis, protector of her virginity and enforcer of her divine sanctity, would not suffer such an affront to go unpunished. With a gesture as swift as the flight of an arrow, she transformed Actaeon into a stag, his human consciousness trapped within the beast. Where once stood an unrivaled hunter, now a majestic yet terror-stricken stag fled, his antlers reaching towards the heavens as though begging for mercy. The irony of his transformation was a cruel one. Actaeon, the master of his hounds, became the hunted. His own dogs, now foreign to the scent of their master, were driven by an insatiable hunger. The hunter's bond, once unbreakable, was shattered by enchantment, leaving Actaeon to the mercy of the chase he once commanded. As the pack drew near, Actaeon tried to call out to make them understand, but his voice was now a stag's bellow, unfamiliar and frightening to his companions. The hounds, trained to perfection, did not hesitate. They did not see their master in the eyes of the stag. They perceived only the final moment of the chase. The tragic scene unfolded with brutal inevitability. Actaeon was brought down by his own hounds, torn apart by those he had nurtured and loved. In their frenzy, the hounds knew not what they did, their loyalty to the hunt overriding the bond they shared with Actaeon. After the deed was done, a heavy silence fell over the forest. The hounds, as if awakening from a trance, sensed that something irrevocable had occurred. They searched for their master, their whines filling the air, a mournful lament for the one who was forever lost to them. Actaeon's transformation and ultimate demise at the jaws of his own hounds, a poetic yet brutal conclusion, underscore the fragile line between man and nature, as well as the fickle nature of fate itself. These hounds, symbols of loyalty and the unbreakable bond between hunter and companion, become the instruments of their master's tragic end, illustrating the unpredictable outcomes of divine will and the inherent risks of hubris, even when unintended. The myth of Actaeon serves as a reminder of the awe and respect that the ancient world held for the gods and the natural forces they embodied, urging us to contemplate our place within the universe and the consequences of our actions, both seen and unseen.